Welcome to the Voiceless Thoughts podcast, where we give voice to your thoughts, feelings, and situations in life. This show is all about making you feel like you aren't facing life alone. As a note, myself and other anchors are normal men who are not certified, trained, or in any way credited as being mental health professionals. Enjoy the show. In addition, if you have any questions or thoughts that you would like to hear us discuss, feel free to email us at voicelessthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. It's spelled how the show is spelled. Hey guys, Jake here, co-host of the Voiceless Thoughts podcast, and with me, as always, is the founder and co-host of the show, Brandon.
Hello.
Say hello to the people, Brandon.
I did, but hello.
I wanted to try that out, see how it's like.
Yeah. All right, we can start out. How was your week?
It's been busy. It's pretty much I'm either working or I'm trying to study or I'm frustrated that I am failing at studying or I'm at the gym with Riley. It's pretty much all I do now.
Sounds like a lot on your plate. Doing the studying.
No, no, go ahead.
I haven't really had the studying. I don't have to take a test in the near future like you do.
Four tests in the near future.
Yeah. But I've been just doing things for my internship and working and just trying to figure out what to do next.
How's the internship treating you?
It's good. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Gonna start designing video games here soon? Or?
Maybe.
Wow. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no. I would just have to get a
life?
A life? Yeah.
Just kidding. I have no life, so I can't talk.
That's okay. Hey, we have no life together. That's why we have this podcast.
I went a whole week without drinking beer. A whole week.
That's terrible. Really good.
It's terrible.
That's good.
Not to excess, but like at all. Like at least one. Give me one. No. Terrible. It's terrible.
I think that's a good thing.
Well, thank you. I know you're being constructive. I'm trying to be slightly facetious. Also slightly serious.
Yes. Yeah. So what we're going to talk about in this podcast is so it's going to be a parallel to the last show, and it's lack of money and on how it relates to depression. And we can't fully talk about being at the bottom, like living paycheck to paycheck, like legitly, because we've been college students, so we've had some instances of not having money and trying to figure out if we can do that or go out with friends, because we don't have a full stable job as of yet. When you're in school, it's just school and then probably a part-time for some people, and sometimes people don't do part-time at all. So
yeah, within that too, you have the whole dynamic of, whether or not you have parents that or if they're helping you at all financially. We kind of want to get a little bit into the whole concept of college as an investment, because that investment kind of takes the place of a higher paying job you could have now, right? So if you were to choose, full-time, let's say like assembly line job for like $19 an hour, that some people may be able to do that and go to school full-time. I know a lot of people kind of cut off the full-time school at part-time work balance there. So in this example, theoretically, we are foregoing the $19 an hour full-time, maybe overtime job, maybe you get 60 hours out of that a week. And going for the part-time, maybe it's, lower wage, more flexibility, giving you that that space to have maybe even like over full-time school, 18 credits, 20 credits, whatever it is. And there's outliers either way. Obviously, some people can't take that many and work. Some people can take more and work more. But that was kind of the narrative we wanted to have, is that investment, that give and take that college presents. Because for at least the majority of the people that I've experienced talking to, they don't have the ability to make a comfortable amount of money. And we'll go ahead and define that here in a little bit. But that was this is kind of the narrative we wanted to go with. And again, Brandon and I, we have the most experience being in this position, so that's why I felt like maybe we could give the best podcast about it. Not that we're saying our situation again is wholly similar to everyone else's, but that's what we wanted to focus on for this show. So.
And so the last episode was about having so much money that you don't know what to do with. Now is having little money
kind of about, we should say.
Yeah. To like, you have to be careful and strategic on what you buy and what you do with your money. And sometimes it's hard to do that. Actually, it's not sometimes. Most people have a hard time balancing money and trying to use that money for yourself and try to figure out what can make me happy. Because we were talking before this about you like buying some groceries and making a meal at home with Riley and doing things like that, or watching a movie. Because it doesn't have to be this huge, extravagant, like, money situation. It could be smaller things, but it can help you, I think, create memories, but also get you out of a routine of just school and your part-time job, and then you're paying for your food every day and not really doing anything special for yourself.
Yeah, that's a really good way to approach that first thing we really wanted to touch on. So you kind of put it out there in a good way. So yeah, Ryan and I, we both kind of have had, varying issues of depression. I think her more than I've been a huge like anxiety example patient. I don't know how you want to say it. Textbook case, anxious person. But just recently it's been a bit of the depression too with her and I. And so a lot of times we'd have just sucky days where we see each other and we're like, hey, let's just like lay down and watch a TV show. Like nothing else sounds fulfilling. The dog, we have the dog. She's obviously fulfilling in her own way, but like we've just had it for the day and we're just ready to be done. And it's, it's still early. So we're not ready to like end the day yet. So we'll just kind of chill out or whatever. And we realized that like one of the things that we could kind of get ourselves a little bit up out of that hole was with ice cream and like pizza and like renting a movie from Redbox, like making a special event out of the evening. And that all costs money. And so a lot of the times what we would do is we would indulge in that situation. And we would buy the pizza, buy the ice cream, rent the movie, rent a couple movies. And I would just be like, why not? I mean, I'm the spender, so I'm always going to push Riley to spend money because to some degree, money is meant to be spent, and to some degree, it's not, right? I mean, obviously, there's a parallel there that we can talk about on the money podcast if we ever get to it. But yeah, so we just kind of found that pattern of that was our like easy, checkout way of escaping. And what that ultimately did is we would feel good in the moment. And this probably captures kind of the essence of money in general when you spend it on frivolous things. You feel good in the moment, and then afterwards, it honestly just made us feel worse. It took a little bit less of meeting from our concept of being comfortable with our money, because we try to be really good about spending our money. We have a budget, and I'm getting way too much into this, but like the point is that was a sense of comfort that kind of could carry us through parts of those depressive episodes where it's just kind of like it's just like empty, nothing really matters, just lay in bed all day. Like that base of knowing that we're comfortable financially was eaten away at every single time that we used that to get out of that hole, right? And that kind of illustrates the point that, again, we're going to get to at some point here with the idea of like, at what point are you like comfortable in the sense that when you do need that little boost, maybe not extremely as Riley and I were doing it, a couple times a week, whatever. But when you do need that boost, are you comfortable with your money to where maybe that's a little bit of a tool to get you out of that state of depression, every so often. And this, the fact that we're college kids, we have the part-time job, we have the full schedule, we have clubs, extracurriculars, other things, other responsibilities, the dog we have to take care of. Like there's not much room to install another inflow of cash there, unless you want to get into some of the janky, bank account situations, or if maybe you're like an investor or whatever. Like, I'm not saying there isn't ways, but like for us in that situation, it's hard not to just feel so governed by money. And again, that's kind of the carrying theme we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, like governed by money. I think I mentioned it in the last podcast, but also money sometimes is used as a quick fix, and you kind of touched on it there. But it can be the snowball effect of you doing that one little thing of getting a movie and getting pizza and whatever, and more things start happening for the better to get you out of that slump. Because we're not saying money's always the way to get out, but it is a tool that you can use. Because sometimes you can just say, some people like going on hikes. You can go outside and go on a hike for free. As long as you have shoes, you're good. And you just go on a hike and go somewhere where they have a nice view or whatever.
I think some people hike barefoot. I think that's like a thing.
Yeah, you can do that too. It's just doing something. We're thinking of money as just a tool. It's not a thing that creates this happiness or gets you completely out of depression. It's just a tool to bump you into the right direction. That's the same thing like with free things like hiking, or say you like playing sports, you go outside, throw a football around, throw a baseball around, go play basketball, stuff like that. It's just a tool to use.
It's funny you said free things just a second ago, and that paints a really good picture of what I kind of wanted to talk about too today. Well, we both wanted to talk about it. We wrote it down. I think you wrote it down actually in the notes. But anyway, regardless. With like college students, a lot of times we're functioning on very low bank accounts. I'm not saying paycheck to paycheck. And we're definitely, again, as Brandon said, we're not trying to like assimilate to like the low income population in America, which has its own challenges, and that's a very complex issue. But what I am speaking to is the idea that whether or not you have your parents' support, a lot of college students don't. Some college students go to college simply by their own merit. They save up the money, they work, they pay for it, boom. Like there's not much margin for error. There's not really, when you're studying on Thursday night and your bank account is overdrafted and you don't get paid until Friday, like you're not going to have like a reliable source of food in that situation. Like hopefully maybe in your dorm or your apartment, you have something stored away, snacks or whatever, which the college diet should also be something we talk about because it's terrible. But, like that worry of where your next like meal is going to come from is real for a lot of college students. Like I was fortunate enough that I had money saved up. So even if like, the few times my parents have helped me out with tuition, like I still had to worry about the rest of that stuff out of my bank account. And so luckily I had some savings left. to where that wasn't something for me. But I remember seeing so many different food drives from like college churches, different clubs and organizations that would have like ramen noodle packets. And I know, Brandon, you put that in the notes, so I don't know if you have something to speak to that, but it was just funny watching people go up there and grab them and me like analyzing that situation and saying, I wonder how many kids actually don't have anything to eat tonight and don't have any money to buy anything either.
Yeah, I just know there's ramen noodles is the college food because it's so cheap, so easy access.
Gotcha.
And like I know a couple of weeks ago I had to pay for my internship and I was just low on money, but I had my parents to help, but not everybody has that, like you said. And like if you live on campus, like if you're in the dorms, you have access to the dining hall. That's part of your tuition. And
well, that depends though.
Sometimes.
So,
yeah, sometimes. But say your parents just have enough money to where you're not going to get, or you're in a certain situation where you're not going to get tuition off, like you're gonna maybe get a loan. Sometimes it's hard to get a loan by yourself for the college, and then so you don't have all this money to like buy foods and I've lived off campus for a couple years, and I basically have been just living on part-time and using my college loan, part of it, to pay for that type of stuff. But now that I'm off of it, it's a little different. So that where's your next meal is a big thing in college, especially if you don't have the dining dollars or whatever your school calls it, or meals to eat. You're gonna have to figure out how to get money to get access to that, or go to these food drives.
And that's the thing is, that kind of just that comfort level kind of permeates what we wanted to talk about today, and what also does too, before we go into the idea of that, well, the surety of the job, like you had kind of mentioned before. There's this concept that I had kind of been referring to earlier of like a comfortable amount of money. That comfortable amount of money, whether it be to provide you that meal on that Thursday night, or whether it be to cover the expenses that your loan isn't gonna, in Brandon's case, or like maybe just simply a way for you to celebrate finally hearing back from that interview after all these weeks or something like that. You want to go get a drink or get a ice cream or whatever, that comfortable amount of money. What we're kind of conceptualizing this as is the idea that like when you're moving through this college experience, you have flexibility, I think is the best word to say. You have some source of income. I remember working on campus. It was very little money that I was making, and I was working very few hours compared to now, but it was a source of income. Like I had the ability to make money. I had the ability to make a varying amount of money, and I had the ability to spend that money on specifically myself. It wasn't earmarked towards anything other than food and my experience in college. And those to some degree are kind of intertwined. And I do think that Brandon and I are planning on releasing like a school depression episode as well, where we can kind of get into more of like your experience and how it relates to food and just in general with school as it relates to depression. But anyway, that concept of being comfortable, with your money is, it's the flexibility to be able to use that tool of money that we've been saying to deal with these depressive episodes. and again, like I said earlier, I was speaking from experience. Like that's worked for me before. It's just, it's so hard to do so in this college situation because you are defaulting to give yourself very little in the way of money in order to get this higher payoff, hopefully. That may or may not actually come. And that's a huge comment on the education system as a whole right now for higher education. I mean, that's a whole nother like podcast string, but it's, anyway, I'm getting,
and you talk about comfortability, but we also mentioned like the little things that you can use it as a tool, but doing different things outside of like your normal routine, like going to a restaurant with your friends, going to a bar to get a drink if you're of age, doing different things like that usually cost money, can help you not get so isolated and stuck in this routine that can just be the same thing. You're going to school. If you're working, you're working, but you kind of need to have a life too. So it's kind of hard to, and you have to balance this money. So then you have to worry about, okay, do I have enough money to go to the bar with my friends tonight? Do I take it away from this, or do I do this with the other part of the money? Different things like that. So it is a skill that you need to learn in balancing money, but when you have so little, there's only so much you can actually do.
Yeah.
And you're kind of lucky in a way that you have two incomes. If you have two part-time jobs, that's way more than most people are doing. And I know that you worked on campus, but there is some campus jobs that will pay for your food too. That will get you food.
No,
so there's a lot of different things that you have to think about when you're going to college and you're getting a job. Most college kids have to get a job nowadays. And it's not that like there's not a lot of people that pay college straight out, unless they're going to like a community college, because these bigger colleges are a lot more, and there's a lot of different opportunities to get scholarships and get grants and different things like that, where you lower the amount that you do have to pay, but you're still thinking of, you still got to think of yourself, and you don't always have to think, oh, I don't have this money, I can't do something. But you could do something very similar that is less money. Like, you could still go out with friends. You don't have to go to a restaurant. You just go to one of their houses and like have fun there, or go. I keep saying sports because we have grown up with like watching sports and stuff like that. But like going to the gym, because your tuition usually pays for a gym, and there's probably basketball courts, there's different sports courts and stuff like that, and just going and doing something with, because we keep saying with other people, because like I said in the last one, relationship is an important part. And that doesn't always mean you have to pay to go to restaurants or go to bars or go to clubs. There's all kinds of different things that you can do to get you out of this slump of depression, and start that snowball effect of you getting back to a better place.
So that's a really good transition. I think the other half of this episode, because it's relatively personal to us as far as our situations, I think it'd be really good for us if we could kind of have like an open dialogue. to kind of talk about some of those ways where, maybe if you're on like just a lower budget in general, whether or not you're even in college, like what are some good things that, we've done before, or maybe we're just like brainstorming here now that we could do to kind of like, I don't know how to put it other than to say like fight those depressive episodes. Obviously we talked about it before. Depression isn't like a constant state. It can happen at random times for random amounts of time. And there's multiple different ways it manifests and multiple different ways that we can deal with it. And obviously for whoever's listening, you guys are going to know what it is that works for you. If you take the time to invest in yourself and figure out how you feel and what you want to do. But, I think it would be healthy and helpful for us to kind of just discuss them on here. So I don't know, Brandon, if you feel comfortable with that, but I got some.
Yeah, I know, like, my brother likes hiking, and that's why I brought that up. But, like, I like playing video games.
Wait, hold on. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So go ahead a little bit into hiking real fast. I know you said your brother likes it, so it's not you saying that specifically, but like maybe for those who haven't really experienced like what hiking is, at least in our minds, like maybe explain a little bit what that could entail, what that couldn't, or maybe like the cost benefit of that. If it is free, like does it have to be at a park or does it have to be at like a designated mountain trail in Tennessee? Like that sort of thing.
So actually, if you are from Michigan, there's a lot of trails you can go to. And
so it doesn't have to be a mountain specifically.
No, it doesn't have to be a mountain. It's just somewhere because there's a lot of places where you can see some beautiful views and just get out and just it's basically an escape in a way. So there's the escape of watching those movies and just relaxing. That can also be in hiking as well, even though some people think it's exercise, but like you're going out and experiencing different things and just kind of forgetting about what's going on in your life at that point and just going and looking for because like you can just go and go take pictures. You can go to special spots that people talk about that not many people know about, and
you can befriend family-friendly animals.
Yeah, that too, and you can go on these hikes with friends too. So it's not like and you could go by yourself. You don't need to have someone else to go with you. If you enjoy something, you just gotta go out and do that. Like I know here in Grand Rapids, there's a couple spots that are good hiking spots that I've went on with some friends that have some pretty cool views and just kind of getting out there. It's not like me telling you, hey, you gotta get off your computer and go outside, but like that's just something that you can just escape from your struggles at that moment. Just kind of forget about those. I know it's harder said than done, but just going out and just going for those hikes. I don't know. I feel like growing up north, there's a lot of woods and a lot of trails and stuff like that, and it's relaxing in a way. If you're not focusing on like something you have to do and you're just walking and there's no like certain thing you have to achieve, then you're just kind of relaxing in a way.
Yeah, I can't agree more. You said it really well. That whole word of escape just resonates with me. Yeah, I personally cannot support the idea of going outside in nature more. Like I don't necessarily enjoy being outside when it's super warm and like hot and like muggy and stuff, which Michigan is always that way in the summer. but genuinely, it is such an escape for me, especially for still dealing with a lot of anxiety. Not so much depression now, but like, it's so nice to just flip that switch and put yourself in this new situation. And that's kind of what I wanted to go into with, like, one of the things that I'm known to do is cold showers. And this is going to be a hot take. I'm sure everyone's heard about, take cold showers to fend off the aliens, or to lose 10,000 pounds, or, to do this or that impossible thing. But it's altering your physical state. Excuse me. Wow, I'm burping so much. Even if it... Sorry. You can edit this out, hopefully. Altering your physical state really, really turns your brain in a different direction, in the sense that you see different things, you hear different things, and you're cognizant of different things, which breaks up what it is that your brain is fixed on. And cold showers are a good way to do that, because you're all of a sudden just like you can't think about anything except, holy shit, that's cold. Like, that's really, really cold. And that's just immediately what your mind goes to. And then after that, maybe your mind goes back to what your worries are, or what have you, if you're comfortable with cold showers. But I'm personally not. And so for me, that it's just like a switch, except it's actually just a valve on the wall that turns on the water. And it cuts my mind away from whatever it is that I'm fixated on, which more than half the time, that's the reason why I'm even in this episode of depression, anxiety, whatever it is. Like, I'm just spiraling, and I just need that switch to get me refocused. And that gives me a little bit of time to reevaluate going back into that situation of, why am I thinking this way? What happened? Why am I in this cold shower right now? And holy hell, this is cold, and I think that parallels well with going out in nature, going hiking, because it's just, you're there, you're walking, you're not sitting. You don't really know exactly what's around you as far as, bugs or other people, or I guess like risk of falling if you go hiking at certain different places. But, your external stimuli are all different from that place that you were at if you were somewhere different with this episode of depression. It's just I can't stress it enough. Physical alterations of any sort, cold showers being a bit more extreme, they're very, very helpful.
And doing something and accomplishing a difficult task. Doing a cold shower is not like difficult enough, but it is starting out your day, accomplishing something that you're in your head is going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then you do it. It kind of just helps you change your mindset for the day.
Yes.
And yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that cold showers are this and that, but it also can change your view on the day. And once you accomplish that, like, say, difficult task, you almost feel like you can do more. You're like, hey, I can accomplish more.
It's like the lifting the car shit when you're in the endorphins and whatnot, or adrenaline or whatever. Yeah. Science, bitch.
Science. I think we're scientists now. But that also comes to the point of accomplishing something in the day. So you hear, make your bed in the morning, or go for a little walk in the morning, or do something that you need to accomplish to start your day off in a right direction. And that's what cold showers can do. And it's a simple thing, because hopefully you're taking a shower every day, or every other day, or whatever. But it does help you in a lot more ways than, I know this is gonna be freaking cold, but it's gonna help.
Yeah. kind of one of those other strategies you had kind of mentioned a little bit there was video games. I almost feel like we could kind of categorize everything except social media into media. Like what I'm thinking of here is music, whether it's on your phone or it's a cassette player or it's a record player or it's a CD or whatever. I know the last three no one ever uses anymore, but trendy millennials tried to, I guess, for the records. But anyway, so there's all the mediums for music. You have film, whether it be a VCR tape, Blu-ray, Netflix, what have you. You have video games. I don't know if anyone knows about the speed running community of Mario 64, but it's hilarious and very impressive if you guys ever want to give it a watch. But media, aside from social media, has so much value artistically, and art's another thing too. But you can use your eyeballs and maybe your ears and maybe your nose and maybe your whatever else, whatever part of your body you use to consume media. But you can use that part of your body to kind of reset yourself as well, kind of in the same way in the physical sense, we talked about earlier. Whether it's a memory you have attached to that form of media, whether it's a new experience that you're waiting to have, maybe it's with that video game, because they give you kind of decisions in your hands in the sense that you have a controller, or it's music and you're experiencing something while you're listening to this new soundtrack of your life or what have you. Media can have a lot of power in your mindset, and it's something that if you pay attention to, you may or may not be able to pick up and control and use to kind of alter your mood or your state of being, to again just kind of like with the money as a tool, just kind of pop you out of there. And music, movies, video games, media, they may have some costs. Usually they will always have some sort of initial cost to them. But choosing that initial cost wisely and choosing the media or the medium, if it's maybe a guitar or some sort of musical instrument that you can use to make your own media, or a camera for photography or film, anything like that. If you were to take the time to look into that and really analyze what it is you need out of it as a trigger, as a tool to kind of defeat those situations. I'm sure Brandon and I have had our situations where we've been able to use that as a tool successfully and unsuccessfully. But if you take that perspective to it, it really opens up this new realm of possibilities to where you can use nostalgia, you can use creativity, you can use all these different human emotions and human-centered interactions to really change your mindscape, just like the cold shower, just like the hiking. So I can't say it enough about media. Media is a huge bag of opportunities.
I don't want to get too much into like comedy, because that is humor is a huge part of helping through depression. But one thing I do is I'll watch some stand-up comedians or some comedies to help me through a depressive state and kind of just help my mood a little bit better. Like I'll go to YouTube and just look up like a comedy skit, or I will go on Netflix and watch a stand-up. So I just use that like medium of watching these comedy stuff as a way to help me get out of this depressive state, because comedy is a huge part in like getting some people out of this state. But using like YouTube, using Netflix, using different things like that to create that medium of because like music, you could like it's harder to do, but each different medium of music, film, they have their own way of getting you through things. Like music, it could help you. It depends on how you listen and what you listen to. So if you're trying to get yourself to get motivated, you're gonna probably think of something like a motivational type music. And if you're trying to like calm down, you're gonna try to think of something slower and something more methodical. So there's all kinds of different ways to go about each section of the mediums.
Yeah. Well, and I know we kind of left out, or I left out books, audiobooks, podcasts, that sort of stuff. Obviously, podcasts. How could I forget? It's not like we're doing one right now. Drum roll.
No, we're just talking for fun.
Right.
And then we so happened to hit record. I think
it's so weird how that happens. My finger slipped. But obviously those are all part of media too. I know this isn't the most extensive list. And hey, here's the plug for the show email. If you guys want to add to the list or you want to hear us discuss anything that you guys have personally found helpful, we seriously would love to do that. I think that we're kind of low-key wanting to plan an episode where if we get enough feedback, we can like discuss how awesome it is that people have found these things to be helpful and try to kind of like see, maybe the side of what they were going through or what you personally are going through or like why this could be helpful to other people. Like we'd love to dive into that. We're two people who are relatively similar in a lot of ways. No wonder we're friends. So, having that feedback, it can be anonymous. We're not going to, poke at the emails or whatever. It would be awesome for us to be able to kind of just hear some more strategies to kind of defeat these depressive states, or just strategies, if you're just feeling down and you just want to feel good, let us know. The emails again, voicelessthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. It's spelled how the show is spelled. In case I haven't said the last 3 podcasts, but I think I have.
Yeah, and we'll also have it in the description.
There we go. Along with therapist links, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we touched on a lot of different things that you can do with money versus what you can do with not money. So I don't want it to make it seem that we are so against money in the last 2 podcasts, but we want, because of money being so prevalent and so important in today's, thought of as so important to today's society, is we want to show you other avenues and different ways to help yourself and not always have to rely and worry about the money aspect. Because there's all kinds of different things you can do that don't cost money, or cost very little. So you don't need to have the designer clothes, and different things like that. If there's something that is more expensive that you think will help you in the long run in multiple different ways, I'll give an example. So I want to get a new computer for what I want to do for a job and stuff like that. But I need to save up for it. And I know in the long run that it will help me in multiple ways. So it is expensive. So you have to, as college students and getting out of college, we got to save up and do that because we don't have the money just to throw out to buy that type of stuff. But saving up for something like a vacation, like a maybe a decent, expensive vacation, you could do that, but it needs to be something that is what's going to make you happy. you don't want to just do it just to do it, because there's all kinds of different smaller things that can add up to that one big thing. I don't know if you have something that you think you could like save up, or there's something big that you think you want to strive for in the like near future.
Well, the small things point you made was a really good one. I have something I already bought myself. I'm a huge coffee drinker, and I finally broke down and got, okay, this is the flip story. My fiance got me an Ember mug. I ended up getting her one, which is why it basically was like a trade-off, and I still feel like I invested in one because I bought one for her, but regardless. It's a Bluetooth coffee mug that's heated for a certain amount of hours before it needs to be like recharged or whatever. It is amazing. I always remember like back when I was in my old apartment, I'd have to like go downstairs and make the new coffee, and I'd always have to like deal with my roommates, and like there were times where I didn't want to be around people, and like I wasn't feeling good. And when my coffee was like sitting there, if I like really got involved, was trying to get stuff done, like it would always get cold. And I was like, I don't want to just chug it because I enjoy just having a warm cup of coffee. And so that like the Ember mug just fixed it. And shout out to Riley because she got me the mug, and it was the most amazing gift as far as functionality goes I've ever gotten, and it was awesome. But that investment, like I bought one for her for the same reason she got it for me, so I'm going to count it as the same sort of concept for this discussion here. But like the comfort of always having a warm cup of coffee has carried with me to where literally every time I use it now, I sit down and I think, wow, this is really, really nice. Like, I'm so glad I'm just so grateful for not having to worry about the cooling of my coffee. Like, that just isn't a problem for me now. Like, it's just insane because it used to be the forefront of my mind. Because obviously, like I said before, very anxious person, and I'm ADD. I'm 90% certain. So I focus on all kinds of things all the time, and they always make me feel bad unless it's like a good thing. And so the fact that my coffee is going to eventually cool if I don't drink it is always in the back of my mind. It's like, hey, your coffee's getting cooler. Your coffee's getting cooler. Oh, your coffee's cold. And then I'm like, damn it. And I just want to throw my coffee mug out the window. So that was one purchase that has arguably saved me from having a shittier day because it's there. So I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but that's...
No, I love that you brought that up because I was talking on bigger scales, and then you brought in
my little coffee mug.
It's a smaller scale, but that can affect your day so much.
Oh my gosh.
Like the little things. We can talk about the little things all the time because that is a very important part of your day. It's just something as small as the coffee staying warm that helps you, like, not your anxiety going. I don't want to get too much into anxiety because
I know. I keep bringing it up. Sorry,
topic, but like anxiety can be connected to depression, and if you're doing stuff in the morning and then your coffee gets cold, then you're like, oh, this is a great start to the day. So it's kind of like it's a small thing to start the day, but in the long run is a huge important thing to combat, in which you did.
Well, yes. Riley did. Again, credit to her. I was trying to take credit for her gift, but yeah, it's the little things. But yeah, man. Closing remarks, I'll give it to you. I know I had a Michael Scott style rant the last episode, so I'll give it to you this time.
Well, I don't necessarily have a rant. We'll talk about money eventually, but like time is money is an important thing we didn't really mention, but we kind of hinted at it because everything can be connected to money, which is hard because money shouldn't be everything. But
capitalism.
Oh my gosh, we can't be getting too much. We're gonna be talking about all kinds of stuff. It won't be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
What would you guys think? Would you guys listen to a 3-hour long podcast?
That's a good question. Yeah, let us know.
Like us just like I was thinking maybe doing a live and just having people ask questions and we answer and we just go with from there.
And obviously first we have to have concurrent listeners, but
True. But we still haven't figured out a way to say goodbye.
Nope.
What was my last episode? Bye. No, that works. I like that one. Bye. We'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, this is so bad.
I love it. It's great. I think we don't need to. I think it's great that we don't have an outro. We have the intro, but like I think this is just.
We definitely should have no outro.
No, it should just be us babbling and trying to figure out an outro because I think it's funny.
Yeah, I think this quite.
Come on, like bye. Me saying that.
That's terrible. That's so bad.
It's so bad.
It's
but
almost as bad as me singing the intro.
Oh my god! You should sing the outro. That'd be great.
There's no outro, so I can't sing.
I know, but we can make an outro. You can sing it.
Oh,
but let us know if you want them to sing it out.
That was entirely a joke. That's not happening.
Why not? Well, we'll see you next week on Monday. So, you got anything else?
Do I have anything else? I have the meaning that I use to live. That's
all right. We'll see you next time.
Adios.